Welcome to Enlightenment of Change on webtalkradio.com. I'm your host, Connie Whitman. My guests and I are always excited when you show up and listen to the show or watch on YouTube. Now, I hope every week as you listen, look, my guests and I, we get that word change, especially if the change is thrust upon us, can be truly difficult to navigate. So in the show notes, my gift to you is my communication style assessment. I don't know about you, but when change seems to hit, again, especially if it's not chosen and thrust upon us, I think communication and navigating communication with other people that we need to help that change happen or to ease whatever that change is. So the communication style assessment gives you two reports. First one will just show what your natural communication superpowers are. Important to know, we want to leverage that and lean into it. Flip side, though, you'll get a lowest score. And for me, that's the more meaningful report because it typically spotlights or shines a light on your blind spot of people's receiving your message that communicate 180 degrees different than you. Wow. So when change is happening and we're in stress mode, having this tool could really help you navigate that change with a lot more ease and grace. So again, that link's in the show notes, my gift to you. Now, my quote to set the stage for my topic with my guest today is by Lisa Lubin. And Lisa says, video marketing solidifies your online presence whilst building deep and meaningful relationship with your customer. It adds a personal touch to your brand while increasing your increasing your conversions. Now, a few years ago, and this is a shout out to the producer and the owner of Web Talk Radio. Her name is Mary Lou. She was coaching me on becoming just a better host and making my podcast, I guess, more interesting and fun, and of course, engaging. And then one day she said to me while coaching, you need to start recording your show using video. Of course, I went deaf to that. I did not want to hear that. And after I felt like I was in this slow time warp in my mind, I'm thinking, did she just tell me I need to record and use video so people could see me? That's just crazy talk. And it ain't happening. But after a couple of minutes of her sharing the benefits of using video, of course, I buckled, I gave in, and I embraced her recommendation. And that was probably almost 5 years, maybe 6 years ago now. And truly, that was the best advice ever. And I've become so much more comfortable on video than pre-COVID, right? Where everything was analog for me. And being on Zoom became like breathing. So I created digital classes. I do video marketing. I use video all the time. So basically, for most businesses, using video has become not an option anymore, but a must do. Do not fear. I have an expert on premise today. And my amazing guest is Nina I'm never going to say your name right, Nina. Please say it, and then I'll finish my audio of you.
Froriep.
Say it again.
Froriep.
Froriep. So, and could you make it any easier for me? So Nina Froriep, she's an award-winning producer and documentary filmmaker. She's seen it all from the early days of independent features to big national TV commercials, corporate mega shows, and Emmy award-winning documentaries, including one she produced and directed called Abraham's Children. Now, today, Nina is a featured LinkedIn content creator and video marketer and is excited to enable authors, business coaches, and service-based entrepreneurs to create easy and impactful video marketing so they can attract their ideal clients and be disruptors in their field of expertise. Please help my amazing and really good friend Nina to the show. So Nina, thanks for being on. This is important. This is important. Video has become, I think, a lifeline, not only for businesses, but even for like financial advisors, right? I work with banks, so financial advisors and other corporate folks that are in sales or other forward-facing, client-facing positions. Mm-hmm. The video really helps us, I think, build that know, like, trust factor quickly. So your expertise is critical.
Thank you. Yes, and I would agree.
Amen, sister, right? So let's start so people really could start to understand, because if they're already using video, great. How can we use it better? If they're not using video and afraid to jump in, right? So the first question I always ask or want to ask you is, how does video help us stand out? What are the key things?
I think you'd mentioned it in an introduction. It creates that immediate emotional link with your audience. And when I say emotional, I'm not talking about woo-woo anything, right? It's just that seeing somebody and seeing how they talk, how their mannerisms are, how they present themselves, just paints a picture, and a much more memorable picture than just reading yet another post, right? Yet another text. So I will remember the woman with the green glasses and the blue shirt. I will not remember reading that same person's text. Even if it was memorable, I might remember the text, but not remember the person.
Absolutely.
So I think that is your first and biggest win, video over anything else. And then there's a whole litany of other stuff that, you know, comes in very handy. I love video, for instance, for the self-selection process. So if there's somebody who just doesn't like my voice, doesn't like my nose, doesn't like my aforementioned green glasses, then they're not going to want to work with me. They're not going to even show up on my calendar, right? So then we're not wasting each other's time. So I think
Agree.
it's great for that. And then video also is sort of the salesperson that never sleeps. You know, if somebody comes on my website or my LinkedIn profile and there is a featured video or a video in the post, they get to know me immediately, even if it's my 3 a.m. and their, I don't know, 9 a.m. because they're in Europe. So that is really also a great way to make yourself more available, more readily, than just, again, with text or even a photo, right?
Yeah, and here's the deal, you know, being in sales and helping people grow sales results, it's a game, right? That's why I rebranded to Changing the Sales Game a few years ago. But you have to be out there, you have to be visible. So the video has now, like when I started, you know, however many years ago, Nina, it was analog. We didn't have this digital. Video wasn't even a thing, unless you had high-end videos for customer service or sales or something like that. And I wasn't in a position to spend that kind of money, right? So you just whatever. And we didn't even have emailing. So it was snail mail, phone calls, all of that. Now with the video, it's funny because people will follow me for years, and all of a sudden they'll jump into a program I'm offering, and I said, "Oh, how did you find me?" And they go, "I've been following your videos. I've been listening to your podcast." So it builds that know, like, trust. And often what they say, "I feel like you're talking directly to me." So my messaging, they can see me, they can see that I care, right? You could see from my body language and my eyes and all of that, people matter to me. So all of that fast forwards the sales process because you're building that know, like, trust based on everything you just said, right? The video, plus you're giving good content, yay, right?
Well,
Don't
that goes without, in a way, that
yeah,
goes without saying, right? I mean, that I'm just going to assume that your content's going to be kick-ass, be it educational, be it thought leadership. But that goes without saying. Your
right.
content has to hold up for
Right.
sure.
But now your heart
Mhm.
shows up when you have a video. It's very
Yeah.
hard to hide behind a video because your body language, most people don't know what their body language is saying, right? But your body language is speaking volumes, and there's messaging under the content, the words that
Right.
people are feeling. So this is
Right.
important stuff. The video really does catapult the level of success, I think, for everybody. So that's kind of cool. So let's talk about the content now. How do you create that consistent content without making it this full-time job, right? Because now people are saying, "Oh, but now I have to add video. It's another layer," right?
Yeah. So content in general, whether it is video or other, you know, it's first of all, I think just step back half a step is consistency is king, right? It's all about, I mean, there's other really important things like context, etc. But consistency is king because if you're showing up consistently, that alone can be the differentiating factor on social media between you and your competition, because most people don't have their shit together enough to show up consistently, right?
Yeah.
So creating content over and over again, and let's say doing it, you know, if you're in the financial field, if you post once or twice a week on LinkedIn consistently, that's enough. I
Yeah.
mean, do more, great, but you don't have to. The key is, and this is where I work with my clients, I actually have them in a group because we support one another with making sure that we, you know, it's part accountability, it's part support, it's part inspiration, and it's part tools. And the tools, which is, I think your question goes towards, is I am the biggest fan of batch producing just about anything that I do. So I never think about, what do I want to say tomorrow? Well, never tomorrow anyway. What do I want to say, a month from today when I'm filling in my content calendar? It's always, what do I want to talk about? And what do I want to talk about over the course of the next quarter? And then it's like, okay, so I'm going to serialize, and especially with video, I'm going to serialize my content. It saves me exponential time and money in doing so.
Yeah.
B, on social media, I want to have snackable content, short, quick, like sort of those boom moments, right? Those boom thoughts, those quick teachings, those quick snippets of brilliance, like, with the daily quote, stuff like that. So if you do that and you do it, you have, let's say, a topic that you like talking about, don't talk about the entire topic. Talk about 10 aspects of that topic, and each of those is a post, and that can be written or video. And especially again with video, like after this I'm going to shoot a video. I have a whole, not, I need two, but I have an ongoing list, and I'm going to tick off everything on that list, and we'll have about 10 videos done in 1 hour. If I shot each of them separately, it would take me for each of them half an hour, because I have to set up. My setup is super quick and simple, but still, there's the mindset, there's the setup, there's the lipstick, there's the God knows what, right? So bunching it all together is the way to survive it. And then it also ends up in your calendar. So for me, I have a content calendar. I plan everything out at least a quarter in advance, because planning is not executing. Then with that, I look at my calendar and say, okay, what this I need by then and then. That means there needs to be 4 new videos shot for this. I'm going to shoot them next Sunday. I love doing it on Sunday when it's nice and quiet. But you could do it Monday nights, evenings, or afternoons, or whatever, whatever works for you. I have a client who always does super early morning shoots. I don't know my name early in the morning. I'm not a morning person. He is. So great. So do it whenever works for you best, and do it in bulk. And that goes not just for video. I think it goes for everything. And then you have a nice full calendar. And that does not mean that if there's something timely or topical that pops up, that you cannot be flexible and move things around, and maybe move a series down the road a little bit, because now there's all of a sudden this amazing thing going on that you want to be, on top of and talk about in your social media feed. So one doesn't exclude the other.
And what you just described, right? We have to approach things in a strategic manner. You have to have a strategy. We can't just keep throwing spaghetti against the wall. And when I teach my bankers, or I teach my small business owners, there's a sales process. You have to have a process that's it's almost scientific. What you just described is like a little scientific approach to, in this case, video, in this case, to build that know, like, trust factor, in this case, to generate sales, right? To generate more business, increase our following, all of those things. We have to differentiate ourselves from the competitors out there. And Nina, there is so much noise. And when I work with my banks, you walk out of your house, right, Nina? And how many banks can you see right from your front step? They're everywhere. So how do we differentiate ourselves from the other bankers? In your case, from the other people who say they're experts with video, right? People have to resonate, I think, on a subconscious level to some extent, of why I would want to work with Nina or Connie or banker A or banker B. It's that subconscious connection.
It's personal.
And it's personal, and it's intimate. And I don't mean that in a weird way, but I think
it's a relationship. I mean, it's your hard-earned money that you're talking about here, right? You want to leave that with somebody you trust, and make sure that that person is going to manage it in your best interest, in the best way possible.
Absolutely.
Right. And also to what you just said, I want to pick that up, because I thought it is a really important point that you made, is when you plan out your content that far in advance, there's also, and this is something I do with my business partner every single planning session, make sure that we have a rhythm, right? Because the people who hit us up, as you said, like, it's a science with the sales process. So there's going to be people who are just meeting us. There's going to be people who've been following us for frickin' ever and still haven't pulled the trigger. And then there's sort of all sorts of people in between. So we want to make sure, and we make sure that we do this every single week. We have this little rotation, right? Where we make sure there's a thought leadership piece in there for those people who've been following us for a while. We want to make sure they don't get bored. There is a little quick, fun, or super useful video tip in there for the people who just happened upon us, so they can grasp quickly and easily, oh, this woman knows what she's talking about when it comes to video. And then
Yeah.
the third piece is, sharing someone else's content, and that sort of is many different things then, right? That one we switch out, but we kind of make sure that we hit our audience with different kinds of content, so we can bring into the fold and keep happy as many different levels of, wherever people are in their customer journey or in their sales process with you.
And I just want to comment, because again, I'm thinking in my world, right? My bankers, financial advisors, people in the financial industry, they're very legally and regulated
Right.
by the government. So here's the thing. So they're saying, well, I can't do video. Sure, you can.
Yeah.
You could use, because you're in compliance, right? Because you have licenses and all these other things. So, but you can share success stories or potential. You're not giving stock tips, right? Or what account they should buy. That's inappropriate, because you're talking, you're throwing, you're. It's like you're singing into the wind, right? Nobody's hearing you. So we want to make sure that we share us, the essence of us, because that's who people are going to do business with, right? The essence of who you are and how you're going to be able to support them. And if from an integrity standpoint or a value standpoint, that's going to come through loud and clear, I think, in the video. And ultimately, that's going to help make more sales, use, like you said, I love that blocking. I do the same thing. When I do my videos, right? The makeup's on, the lighting's good, all of those pieces of the puzzle. I'm in the right zone, the mindset. So I'm not tired, because if I'm tired, I'm not going to show up on the video well. So by bulking it, like you said, it makes it easier, it streamlines, it saves time, but you're really showing up with the right energy as well. So video is really important, and it has to be a piece, I think, of what we're doing and how we're offering things. So people know that we're also versatile and that we are staying relevant to everything that's happening in the marketplace from a technology standpoint. It all goes together. It's funny, Nina, because people are like, oh, I got to do video and I got to do content, blah, 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 blah. We can bulk this all together, tie a really pretty ribbon on it, and now you have your quarter worth of content, whether it's written and video, right? But now you have a plan of attack. And I think people, and I say this all the time, Nina, sales is 80% preparation, 20% is the execution in front of the client. People go, what? 80% is, and it's the same thing we're talking about here. You have to have a plan before you go, I think I'm going to do a video today. It's not going to work. It's not going to land right. And we're going to end up creating more angst than success. So it's just a process, I think, is important. I want to talk the next thing about LinkedIn. You mentioned it before.
Yeah.
Why LinkedIn over any other platform? I know that's true for me, where my people play, but why with the video is LinkedIn playing nice these days?
So I think, well, basically LinkedIn is not that video heavy yet. So if you are engaging with video, you will send out regardless. And you will send out regardless on LinkedIn if you're just consistently producing content. I mean, the numbers are ever so slightly going up. There is just this massive algorithm report that came out, and the people who are lurking in the background, not engaging at all, so not with comments, not with posting or anything, has gone down from 90 to, I think, 80%. So more people who are actually on LinkedIn are engaging, but still very few. So if you show up consistently, and you show up consistently with video, LinkedIn is still the one big frontier where you can organically get new clients. So, and we live it and breathe it. That's also why we run a LinkedIn engagement group, right? Because we can actually, the proof is in the soup. What was that expression? The
Proof is in the pudding.
In the pudding. There you go. English is not my mother tongue, so there you go. Soup, pudding, whatever. So
You're too cute. You're too cute.
So the proof being in the pudding is, I keep very, very accurate track of who our clients are and where they come from. And a staggering 30% of our clients, that's a big number.
It is. From
completely total strangers on LinkedIn who have, and I mean, that is 30% of income that I wouldn't have otherwise, right?
Beautiful.
And that for the 70% that are referrals and other means of finding us, the LinkedIn is my calling card, much more so. And this is a big shift that my business partner and I were like, we told you so, we told you so. It's all about social selling, much more so. The website is still important, but the website is not what's selling you anymore.
Absolutely.
It's your profile. And if you are in the financial world, it's 110% LinkedIn. I mean, Facebook, a lot people are leaving Facebook in en masse. And Instagram is just messy all over the place. There's so many different ways of consuming content, Facebook too. And it's not where you are as a financial advisor, even if
Yep.
you are catering to a younger crowd.
Yep.
It's really LinkedIn is where it is.
Yeah. And that's where my people play. And it's funny because people will search me, then they'll, my bankers, because I live off referrals predominantly, right? So they'll find me and I'll say, oh, and who referred me. So I'm always grateful to the people who refer. I say, thank you. Then when I get on a meeting with the person, they say, yeah, we looked at your website. We looked at your LinkedIn profile. We listened to a couple of the episodes of your podcast. They're vetting us before because time is valuable. So is it worth them? Am I the vibe that they want in their organization to help their salespeople improve their skill? And if I'm not, then don't choose me, right? It's going to be a disaster. So by having all of these pieces of the puzzle out there for them to see you and I, right? Like breathe and how we are, our tempo, our body language, all of those things, you're making the sale through the visuals, right? Go ahead. I know you want to say something.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that is really important there, especially with corporate, is, if you work with small business owner, it's that business owner who's making the decisions on their own behalf.
Right.
If you are in a corporation, we all know there's these layers and layers, right, of responsibility and of basically covering your tail. So if I have a lot of clients who come to me and said, I must have video, because people aren't, when they work with me, they love me, but they always say, like, I can't show you to my boss, if there's no video there, so it's basically, if there's consultant or financial person 1, 2, and 3, the one with video is the one, unless they are like, not to that person's personal liking, it's the one who's going to get the referral or is going to get the call, because I was able to vet beyond what is, again, the written or the still not moving image, right?
That's
so
right.
having that extra step of having video on your website and your social media, it just it gives me an opportunity to say to the person that I'm talking to, where I might be referring back to a boss, where I say, watch this video, isn't she great, or isn't he great?
Absolutely. It's funny because I encourage the CEOs of the organizations I work with, you should have a video, especially if they have a really nice personality. And banking, after the Wells Fargo debacle, right? Bankers kind of had a bad rap. And so when you have this executive that's the real deal and heart centered, not only cares about the community and their employees and the customers, you want to spotlight that, right? Tell them what your mission is versus have it just written out. So it's the old saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. And that is what we're really talking about. So now let's get into the little nitty gritty here. So people are going, all right, I'm kind of like me, right? When Mary Lou goes, you got to do video. I'm like, yeah, I'm not. No, not. And then of course I did video, right? But here's the question. What do I use as my background? I know, let's get into the weeds here.
Yeah. Background, non-distracting and branded. That would be sort of the short answer, right? So, you want to have something where the background is well lit and you are well lit from the front, or even better from the side. It's like slightly off to the side. And you want to have it be either nondescript or just not distracting. So, like, I love your bookshelf, or your case is far enough behind you that we're not tempted trying to read the book titles, or it's just there. It's nondescript, but it looks lovely, and it makes a professional impression. That's what you want, right? So that's a short answer. I mean, and then, people like me go out a little further. I'm in New York City. and I have two locations that I shuttle between. So this is my New York studio, and then I have Pour Me is the other half of my life. I'm in the Swiss Alps, so I actually had a custom backdrop made there
Love it.
because the house is all in old wood, which nowhere near my branding. So I had a nice custom backdrop done that has this flare, feel, and color, but is still different, right? So again, just something non-distracting, not too wild, and something that is your brand, be it that it is your corporate colors, like blue dominates and dark gray dominates in my corporate colors, so that works. And it just when the bookshelf is too close, or what I hate when people have written a book and then they have 50,000 copies of their book on the bookshelf. It's like, no, it's ego. And then of course, if you're really sarcastic, it's like, oh, those are all the books you didn't sell. So
You're so bad. I love it.
so anyway,
That's good.
yeah.
I have like one or two books behind me, but they're stacked behind just to keep it upright. So
Yeah.
you're cracking me up. But yes, I love that. You're killing me, Nina. Go ahead. What else?
Yep. So that's it with the background. Just keep it simple and keep it on brand, and keep it professional, right?
Yeah, like mine, because I do deal with professionals when I'm doing my group coaching, they're in corporate. I have to look, professional. So I have nice furniture in my office, right? To
Yep,
spotlight that I am a professional, right? Working in this field. I'm also, Amazon. You could buy backdrops for, plain, if you don't have a lot of space, like I have quite a bit of space behind me, you have quite a bit of space, but they have these backdrops which are clean so that you don't, especially if your office is a makeshift, maybe in a dining room or something, you don't want to see your china cabinet behind you, right? That's not really professional. So you could put
a
these
liquor
screens.
cabinet,
Yeah. So you could do some pretty cool things inexpensively, but I like that. Don't make it cluttered. Don't make it distracting, because then people are looking at the backgrounds, not at you. And that's not a good thing. I think we have time for one more question. I'm looking at my timer here. Where do you find that people falter, I guess, the most when they're creating the video? Like, what are the biggest glitches that you hear?
I mean, I've been doing this for so long. There's many. So I think what I really want to highlight, and this is a little bit my mission in the world, I feel, is keep it simple with with all of it, right?
Yeah.
Mostly when I start working with people, very often I'm like, what equipment do you have and what can you return? Because all you really need is either a good web camera or your smartphone. Smartphones that are, I always say, like iPhone 6, which I don't even remember how long ago that is. That was the first really good camera.
Yeah.
That is still a super okay camera, because what we're shooting is not Gone with the Wind 2. And these are videos that go on your website. They live there for a couple of months and you'll replace them. Your social media videos will play once. If you plan them smartly and well, you might be able to recycle them, which I encourage you to do. Recycle your videos. You can always shimmy around the post that goes with the video to give it slightly different context. But if you're creating all these videos, make sure you can recycle them, and you can recycle like after 3, 4, 5 months. No one will remember that video played already once before. And then, so I think keeping it simple with the equipment, making sure that you're well lit and one can hear you well. And that all with the iPhone or with a good smartphone, you can achieve all of that. And that's really it. And then just do it, right? It's borrow Nike. It's just do it, do it, do it.
Yeah.
And the surprising thing to me was when I started, I have a long career as filmmaker, producer, director. And I was not prepared in the very beginning, like 7 years ago, with the mindset piece. And that it really is the biggest piece, where people like, I hate hearing my voice. I hate seeing myself on video. Who wants to, imposter syndrome, who wants to listen to me? And that will only go away with time and practice.
Yeah.
And
I'm a living proof of that. And my
yeah,
intro,
yeah.
I looked at her like, what drugs are you taking? I am not doing video, woman. No way.
Yeah.
Of course,
And
the next day I did video.
Yeah, and same here. I mean, I spent a 30-year career safely tucked behind the camera and had no intention ever to be in front of the camera. And then at age 50, not the greatest age show up in front of the camera. It was like, oh boom, shit. Now I have to be in front of the camera. And it was really, really painful. But you know, again, I learned quickly, and I quickly realized that people are not looking at me because I'm gorgeous, which of course I am,
You
but
are, sister.
they listen to me because I have something to say that they're interested in. And
Yes,
that's
yeah.
really what it's all about.
Yeah, but here's the thing too. Isn't that interesting? Because I do think you're beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
But we are who we are. And I think that I'm not a model walking down the runway, right? Never will be. But here's the thing. I think the energy that you and I bring to the table, and that comes through loud and clear in the video. We have little
Yeah.
twinkles in our eyes. That's what people are going to resonate and feel, not that we're a 10 out of 10 or a 12 out of 12, right? That we're walking
No,
around.
a 12 out of 10.
A 12 out of 10. Yeah, that has never been my story, by the way. Right up, husband loves me. Just wrinkles and all, right? But
Yeah.
but I know what you're saying. And here's the thing: you are who you are. When people meet you, you're still showing up as you. And that to me, again, from the sales perspective, you've just made the sale halfway. You're halfway
Oh,
there.
more than half.
More than half.
Absolutely.
Agree.
And
Agree.
I think to me, the biggest compliment is when people meet me in person, or even if they meet me on a Zoom meeting and they're like, oh my God, you're just like your videos.
Yeah.
Then I know I've done my job right, right? I'm not overdoing it with my videos. Yes, I want to show up on my videos like my background. I want to show up professional. I want to show up, put together, but I'm also not going to show up in, full black tie regalia, right? That's
Yes, that's
not
right.
the purpose. The purpose is to meet your people where you will meet them when you meet them for the sales call or for the meeting, be it in person or be it on Zoom. And that's where you want to be with your videos.
And Nina, here's the thing. We've all bought things that you go, oh, it's not what I thought I was getting, right? You feel duped, you feel tricked, whatever, like the snake oil salesman, right?
Yeah.
That's what I deal with because of the sales piece.
Yeah.
And I think the video can't hide behind it because you're really, it's hard to be on video and not be authentic. I think you could put on a persona, but I think people see through it because it's not real. It's not really who you are. So I think the video breaks down that barrier of, wow, I think they're legit, or wow, I kind of like what they just said, or wow, I like her energy. There's something in that subconscious realm that they're feeling from you or I, right, on the video. That just fast forwards the whole sales process, the whole buying process, the whole whatever it is that we're out there doing, career or otherwise. We want to show up, man. We want to show up big so that people say, oh, this is exactly what I've been looking for, versus reading, texting, same old crap I've been reading, right? Because there's so much noise in the marketplace. And I don't care what industry you're in, there's a lot of noise out there. We have to differentiate ourselves. Yeah.
For sure.
And so here's the deal, guys. Look, Nina's in my world. I get to see her a lot in networking and stuff because we're local. But I do think check out her website. It's clockwiseproductions.com. Email Nina at clockwiseproductions.com. And you have a free quiz. I will put the link, guys, in the show notes, but tell them what's in the quiz, Nina, so they're compelled to go and actually do it.
Yeah. So it's lots of fun. It's called the Video Personality Quiz. So we kind of figured out, and actually this has been a super helpful tool with our clients, in order to pick up on our last conversation topic, to show up, as you, and to use the overused word of authentic. There's, we all have sort of our best way of processing information and sharing information. So the video personality, we created 4 different personalities. One of which is, the educator, there's a motivator. I won't tell you all of them because I think you want to discover it for yourself when you take the quiz.
Agree.
And it helps you sort of match you with the way you share information on video. So since I mentioned the educator, if you are an educator, I'm not going to make you tell long stories. I'm going to help you come up with content where you can succinctly and to your personality share information as an educator would, right? And we had lots of fun creating the quiz. And the feedback we're getting is phenomenal. We created the quiz. I just looked it up the other day, 2 years ago. It still is being taken by people like hotcakes. Like it's really lots of fun, and you get actual useful feedback, and you don't have to give you know, tons of information, because sometimes you do these quizzes and then all of a sudden, before you know it, they're like $20 here, and then we have to upsell there, and none of that. You just take the quiz, you get the information, that's it. So I think my favorite story is a client who we wanted to tell his success stories with his clients. He does big contracts with the Pentagon, etc. He's a coach, a performance coach.
Cool.
And his videos were shit. I mean, they were technically beautiful and everything, but his personality was just like flat as a pancake. And then we created the quiz while we were working with him. And, I always use my clients as my guinea pigs. So it's like, Matt, you got to take the quiz. So Matt took the quiz, and it's like, there was not an ounce of storyteller in that man. He was all educator. And we're like, oh, all right. So all we did is we took the exact same stories he wanted to tell, but we packaged them as an educational content and not as a storytelling content. Next thing we know, he got the next big contract with the Pentagon because he created a series of videos, and they flew off.
Ate it up.
Yep.
Yeah.
These little tweaks that, we can do as professionals, because we can see it, and help you sort of not drown in the sea of, oh my God, I need to get done video because everybody tells me I need to get it done. Get your videos done so you can shine at your best, and also have hopefully some fun with it. Because
absolutely.
Why bother otherwise? Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. And the quiz is so spot on, because everybody's like, you gotta tell stories. You're not a storyteller. It's going to be like, wah, wah, wah. It's going to be a disaster, because that's just not where your brain is and how you show up. So you're trying to force that square peg into the round hole, and it's disastrous. So the quiz is really cool, by the way. So yeah, take it. You'll enjoy it, and you'll learn so much, and it really will help you start to think of, oh, I am a storyteller. Oh, which story should I tell? And now all of a sudden, you're not only in the right church, you're in the right pew, instead of just being in the back of the church when you should be in the front of the church, because you're using the whole wrong format. So take the quiz, everyone. Trust me, you'll really enjoy it. Nina, as always, I love spending time with you. Thank you so much. You're brilliant. You are so good at this. Anybody, if you're either doing video and you feel like you're missing something, not sure what it is, Nina's your gal. Within seconds, usually it's a little tweak. The second, if you've never done video and you're like, oh, I don't know that I want to do this, call Nina. She's nurturing. She will work with you, and again, get you to where you need to be with ease and grace, and she'll take the angst out of it for you. All of that animosity that you're feeling for yourself. I don't like my voice. I don't like the way I look. All of those things. I have no idea what to do for the lighting. What kind of microphone? All of those things. It's easier than you think when you have an expert guiding you. So keep it simple, guys. Don't make things more complicated than it has to be. Always a joy to spend time with you. Thank you, Nina. And I hope, always a pleasure. And I hope you will join me weekly as we question, build, and discover together, no matter where you are with change and you fill in the blank. I truly hope that my guests and I provide tips, ideas, strategies, thought-provoking things that you can pause and try to implement. Information's a beautiful thing. If you do nothing with it, it's information. Put it into action, the reaction becomes exponential and catapults us into that next level of success in sales and business, whatever it is, in career growth, whatever you're looking for. So thank you again for tuning into Enlightenment of Change with me, your host, Connie Whitman, on webtalkradio.com. I truly wish you an inspired week, and know that I am honored that you are on this journey of change with me and my guests. And I hope that we show up strong for you every week, providing good content. Please rate, review the show. Love it. I love reading the reviews. And I love you all for tuning in. Have a fabulous week. Please, please be inspired. Take a video of yourself. See how it goes. Love you all. See you next week. Thanks a million.